Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marianne Meed Ward, Mayor of the City of Burlington and founder of electrespect.ca. And I'm joined today by the founding members of this incredible nationwide nonpartisan movement to foster respect in democracy. A simple concept, really, that you shouldn't have to choose between your personal safety and public service. We are here to ask everyone to join our movement, and we have had people from coast to coast to coast sign the pledge, bring it to their councils, bring it to their boards. This has gone well beyond elected office to chambers of commerce, BIAs, boards across this country saying we too want to be part of a movement for respectful democracy, because we know that if people don't feel safe at work and if they don't feel safe serving in public office, they won't run or they'll leave. And you'll hear some of those stories today. And this is not about vigorous debate. In fact, it is in service to vigorous debate. We want a robust exchange of ideas and policies. That's when the best decisions and outcomes for the people that we all serve, that's how it happens. But if people are focused on personal attack or worse, then people stay silent and they don't contribute to the public square. And in our case, this started when a group of us, women, standing with me here today, were talking over coffee. Would we encourage people to run for elected office? Would we encourage our daughters to run or our sons? And we all had a moment of pause because we realized we'd have to tell them about the dark side of politics, about the online harassment and abuse, up to and including death threats. No one should have to choose between their personal safety and public service. And so we said, enough. We're done. We want to serve our communities, and we also want to be safe. And we thought, what better way to do it than to lead by example? And that's where the pledge was born. We can't always control what other people do, but we can certainly control what we're about and how we lead and how we treat each other. And so the pledge is very simple. It's a commitment to say, I will treat you with respect, even when, and maybe especially when we disagree or have different perspectives on the issues that face us. And in return, I will ask you to treat me with respect. And that simple concept, a personal pledge, leading by example, saying what you're about, has captured people's interest and attention across this country. So many people have suffered this abuse in silence, feeling that if they spoke up, they would be seen as weak or they couldn't hack it in politics. You know, politics has been described as a blood sport. We're here to say enough. No, it isn't. Politics is public service. We need to come back to public service, serving our community, and nobody can do their best work when they are under threat of harm, harassment, toxicity, abuse, not just in real life, but also online. So we encourage everyone to join the movement, and I'm going to turn it now to some of my incredible women, courageous leaders here who have been right there from the very beginning saying why this matters and why everyone should take the pledge. I'm going to turn it first to Mayor Ann Lawler, the mayor of Halton Hills.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Marianne, for leading this charge and for bringing us here today. You know, it's vital that here in the Ontario legislature, we acknowledge the importance of a respectful atmosphere for a healthy democracy. And I suggest that without respect, our democratic institutions become very fragile. And so I welcome the chance to share some of my observations as an elected official for over 15 years and now mayor of a smallish town, Halton Hills, just northwest of Toronto. And I'm glad to say that the Elect Respect pledge has been endorsed by other small urban mayors in the GTA as well. You know, we've heard about keyboard warriors who hide behind the screen and threaten and harass, as well as bullies who intimidate in person. And I want to add that sometimes, though, that harassment isn't coming from the public. It's coming from inside the workplace. It's in the council chambers and in the town hall. Now, every municipality has a code of conduct for members of council, and at its core, it's simple: to serve the public diligently and to do the job with integrity, fairness, and transparency. But even with a code of conduct on paper, there can be toxic behavior in the town hall, where the debate stops being about ideas and starts being about tearing people down. And when council or town hall discussion gets personal, the public loses. It's bullying when rumors are spread about fellow councillors, when people's motives are twisted, when backroom deals are made, or when votes are staged to embarrass or diminish another official. That isn't leadership, that's gamesmanship. And there's things like people's images being routinely cropped out of photos that are then posted on social media, or when credit is denied, or people take it for themselves when the true leaders are upstaged. It can also show up when voting blocks are in place, when certain voices are ignored or dismissed, when people get ghosted, or when a signal goes out to block the votes, yes or no, no matter what has been said. Now that cuts against what local government is supposed to be. Elected officials each looking at issues with an open mind, weighing the merits, and making majority decisions based on what's best for their residents. So that's why I'm looking forward to Bill 9 moving forward in the Ontario legislature, so we can have a clear, consistent standard of behavior that municipal councillors are expected to meet. The training Bill 9 will require is going to be a good, appropriate behavior and conversation. It's a practical step. So going forward, I want to see a province-wide code of conduct that clearly promotes the basics of civil discourse: honesty, respect, active listening, reason and evidence, and a real willingness to compromise. People should feel safe to run for office and also safe to do the job once they're elected. A healthy democracy depends on decency and respect, both within and beyond the halls of decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. I'd like to now invite a former Member of Parliament for Oakville North Burlington, Pam DeMoff, to speak.
Thanks, Marianne, and thank you, Anne, for your words, and to everyone else who's here. I was the Member of Parliament for Oakville North Burlington for 10 years, and prior to that I spent 5 years proudly on Oakville Town Council. And it was just about 2 years ago, well, it'll be 2 years in May, when I announced that I would not be seeking re-election because of the toxic nature that politics had become. It goes far beyond what one person said was mean tweets. This is death threats that are sent to me through, or were sent to me through social media, through messages in my office. And I think what I noticed changed was the in-person interaction. So grocery shopping, and have someone accusing me of treason and screaming at me when I was just out in my Terry Fox t-shirt trying to buy some groceries and being cornered in the grocery store. And I just stopped feeling safe when I was out in the community, and I was constantly looking over my shoulders. And my staff were also subjected to sometimes really horrific messages and emails. Unfortunately, there still is no code of conduct between members of Parliament. In Parliament, we did pass a bill around harassment of staff, and I'm proud to have worked on that. But there still is nothing for MP to MP. And so I saw where MPs would, opposition MPs would post something about me with the email address, and then we had to open up a subfolder in my email inbox for misogyny because we were literally inundated with thousands of emails. So when I announced I wasn't running, Marianne was one of the first people to reach out to me to say, we really need to do something. And I am so proud to see where Elect Respect has gone. I do believe that the vast majority of Canadians are not bullies. They don't like to see the bullying, but they're afraid to speak out. And so having a pledge like this allows people to say, we're going to treat each other with respect, even when we don't disagree with each other. And it shows Canadians that we respect each other and we want to work together for the betterment of our society. So I'm hoping more people will sign on to Elect Respect. I hope all candidates in upcoming elections will also sign it. And together we can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Our final remarks will be from Councillor Samira Ali from Milton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you to all of the speakers who spoke today. Such profound words. I don't have much to say, except the fact that I can share my experience as someone who is a person of color and is also a Muslim woman in politics. I've faced a lot of discrimination and challenges in my life serving my community for the last 8 years, which includes death threats, as was mentioned before by Pam and Mayor Lawler, which includes situations where I actually had to move out of my house without listing it just for the safety of my children, and also includes online petitions asking the mayor of my town to kick me out of council because I dared to speak on an issue that someone didn't agree with. And so it's online, it's in person, it's physical. But I also want to, at the same moment, highlight those people who have come to me for support, uplifted me when I was feeling very low and asking myself, why am I even doing this? And I think it's important we do what we're doing here today, which is the Elect Respect campaign promotion, because there are young women and young girls watching us. And what they're seeing online and what they're seeing on the media is very, very negative. So a campaign like this encourages them to not forego or give up on their dreams to be a politician and make a difference in their community, change into policies. It is very important that when we grow and we also lift people up with us. And so for that reason, I'm very, very thankful to Mayor Meed Ward for her leadership on this matter. It was just a discussion we were having on council, and it turned into something amazing. And I hope that this coming municipal election, we see a lot of young women, especially putting their name forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I think the message here is that anyone who is in any kind of public service, and that includes businesses, it includes public-facing industries and sectors, of course it includes elected office, it includes our municipal staff. Everyone has a story, and that's what we've really learned through the last year and a half of this movement, and that's why it has really captured people's attention and their support, that people want to do the good work and they want to be safe doing it. So I will open the floor now for any questions there might be.
Is this toxicity that, is it now the norm as opposed to being an anomaly?
It is definitely the norm, and the challenge that we face now with the increased use of social media is that a rumor could spread instantly across hundreds of thousands of accounts, and by the time you even know it's out there, the seed's been planted with people. And with the use of, increasingly the use of bots, AI, all of that has really changed the dialogue, where people that can spread so quickly to so many people before you even know it's there. And that's something that's happened to me personally, where a fake account was created. It was a completely made up story. It had my picture, and it actually went around the world. And like millions of people saw this, and my constituents were reaching out and saying, is this true? And thankfully they knew enough to reach out, but what about all the people that didn't know to reach out? And I didn't know how long it had been up by the time it came to my attention. And so yes, toxicity has always been in politics to some extent, but we are seeing people at the highest level, the people with the biggest platforms in our country. And I'm just going to confine it to our own country, because we need to clean up our own behavior among leaders. But if you're a leader and you have a big platform and you are using it to create nicknames, to bully other people, to spread information that is not true about your opponent, you are part of the problem. And if you have a big platform and you're using it for that, you are creating the very thing that we're trying to change. So I call on all people with positions of influence, and that's why we started where we did. We are people who are leaders in our own community. We have a platform. We have a voice. Let's use it to stop that tsunami of toxicity, of misinformation, of online abuse, which then does encourage people to take it to threats of bodily harm, which I've experienced more than once. Been told not to attend public meetings because my safety might not be able to be guaranteed. This is now hampering my ability to do my job. And when I tell that story, it's hard for people to think that this is a safe profession for them to go into.
Is this a gender-specific problem?
The people in any in elected office, men and women, get subjected to this. Some of my male colleagues at the Ontario Big City Mayors Caucus have had online death threats. We had our Member of Parliament for Milton North, Member of Provincial Parliament, Zee Hamid, was one of the first allies and supporters of this movement. So we have had many men join the cause and support, and they do get subjected to harassment. But for women, it is of a particular type. It is different. It is more personal. It is often sexualized with threats of rape or bodily harm, threats to your own family and your children. So it is of a different type that is that much more terrifying for the women that experience it.
Right now, is this stopping people, particularly women, from getting into any type of politics, public service? Mm-hmm. And how do you turn that around? Can you?
This is what the movement is about, to say that when we stand together and say enough, and it's also a part of the pledge is calling out the behavior when we see it, not being a bystander. And that's really hard to do as well, because as soon as you say, hey, don't treat somebody like that, that's not fair, whether you agree or not on a specific policy, saying I don't think that people should be treated this way, all of a sudden all of that vitriol and worse gets thrown right at you. And so it has this silencing effect where people feel afraid to speak up. So we're saying, we're together now. You are not alone. You're not the only one to experience this, and we're going to call it out. We're going to govern ourselves according to respect. We're going to treat each other with respect, and we're also going to call it out when we see it and stand together. And you heard Pam's story. That was a spur for me, for sure, personally, and for the women that are part of her Halton that started this. We don't want to lose good people. It broke my heart that Pam, I still am sad that she's not in elected office for that reason. So yes, we have right in Halton an example of somebody that chose their personal safety, as they should, over public service. But why does anybody have to make that choice? So they shouldn't. And Pam has been such an incredible supporter of us. But then there's the people who we never hear about, who just self-select out, never put their name on a ballot, choose not to participate in this because really they want to serve. We all just want to serve our community, and we shouldn't have to put up with this kind of abuse, harassment, misinformation, toxicity, up to and including threats of bodily harm to people, to not only to ourselves, but to people that we love.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.